Hello, it's Sabrina. I'm going to talk to you guys about the time I rescued a pregnant dog. Um, it was 5 years ago, I want to say. Um, anyways, I lived in Redby at the time, and my neighbor, she had dogs, and they were always pregnant. And she would keep the puppies, then she would give the puppies away. Um, she had this tan dog that was pregnant. I didn't know she was pregnant at the time. She would come into my yard. I would feed her because I don't like when dogs starve. It doesn't seem fair, but I would feed her all the time when she would come into my yard. I always had extra dog food and I would feed her. Um, I didn't know she was pregnant at the time, and when I found out she was pregnant, she was I don't know how far along she was, but I could tell that she was pregnant because her belly was getting bigger. Um, anyways, I would feed her and stuff like that and give her attention. Then at night, she would go back to her house. Anyways, one morning I woke up and I went to work, came back, and she didn't come to my house, so I didn't think anything of it. I said, oh, maybe they have her in the house because, she was getting bigger. Well, like I want to say 3 to 5 days went by and I didn't see her at all. I didn't see the dog at all. So I was like, well, maybe she had her puppies. I didn't think anything of it, because she had a home, and she got pretty big. I didn't think anything of it, and then somebody messaged me saying that they had spotted her on 89, a pregnant tan dog. And they gave me a description, and it was the dog that I was feeding, my neighbor's dog. And I was like, couldn't be her or whatever. And they're like, no, it is her. So I was like, well, maybe I'll keep a lookout. So a week goes by, like a few more days go by, and this time it was a week. The days added up to a whole entire week. So I was like, oh, well, I haven't seen her. And then the little girl that lived next door, she said they got rid of their dog. They got rid of the tan pregnant dog. They went and dumped her at the bins. So I knew it was true when they seen her on 89. And I knew that I needed to get to her because she was pregnant. She was a big dog. And I'm like, all that was going through my mind is, how is this normal for people just to have these dogs get pregnant and then go dump them? I mean, not all people are like that, but I was like, man, she is so close to giving birth or whatever. Like, how could they do this to her? Well, anyways, I told my mom. My mom went and looked for her. My brothers went and looked for her. Didn't see her. And then my brother, he said he went and dumped garbage, and then he seen her. So he ended up grabbing her. He ended up catching her. I told him that her name was Ariel, because that's what they said her name was Ariel. So we ended up getting her. And I remember that day because I got to my mom's house and my mom told me that she had got her. And I was so happy. And there, I went into her garage and there was Ariel. She was so happy. Her tail was wagging and she came up to me and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad they found you. And, telling her. And I remember telling Ariel, the dog, I said, you didn't deserve to get dumped when you're so close to having your babies. You didn't deserve that. So we're going to take you somewhere where they're not going to dump you. They're going to take care of you and your babies. And my mom ended up transporting her to Karen Good's Rosie's Rescue. And Rosie's Rescue ended up transporting her to another foster home. I think it was in the cities. But I remember I was so worried because of the puppies. I didn't know if they were born or whatever. And Rosie's Rescue ended up calling my mom and telling her that Ariel ended up having 10 puppies the night we rescued her. So I'm like, oh my God, it's a good thing that we got to her when we did, you know? Because she could have had her puppies and we would have never even found her. But that is the story. I mean, that is the thing that made me want to rescue animals. Because animals don't deserve to be dumped. They really don't deserve to be dumped. But, that was the story, or that was the dog that made me want to make sure that no animal was ever left or just dumped. Because it's not right to dump an animal. But, what made me really mad or frustrated was that the owner couldn't come tell me that they were going to get rid of her. They just went and dumped her. I mean, they knew that I was taking care of her and feeding her and stuff. But yet they didn't. They just dumped her like a piece of garbage. A pregnant dog. But that's that's the, that's somewhat the reason that I love rescuing animals. I've always loved animals. I mean, we grew up with a whole bunch of animals. I mean, we always had animals. We had guinea pigs, rats, frogs, turtles, dogs, cats. We had a lot of animals. But not once did we ever treat them like dumping them. I mean, that's just crazy. I can't believe some people are like that. But I wanted to tell you about my dog Tupac. Tupac, he's a rescue animal. He was supposed to go to Rosie's, but I couldn't bear him leaving. Pac. That's Pac. That's Tupac. Tupac, aka Scooby-Doo. But how I got him was my cousin messaged me saying that she was moving out of her house in Panama and she needed her dogs to be picked up. So, being the good person I am, I went in over there and grabbed him, and then his companion, Honey Girl. She was a smaller dog. Me and my mom went and got them. They were gonna go to Rosie's, but then when I seen Tupac and Honey Girl, I said I can't let them go to Rosie's. I said we didn't make the call or anything to Rosie's, so anyways, I brought him home. They were here for a week. Honey Girl, she ended up going onto the road on 89, and she ended up getting hit by a car. We grabbed her, buried her. And Tupac's been here. I've had him for 3 years, 4 years almost now. But they were here for a week, and then my cousin has the nerve to message me saying that she wanted him back because she got a different house and she wanted him back. And I'm like, no, you're not getting him back because of what you said. I said you wanted him, you were going to have him shot. I said, and he's doing really good here. I'm not giving him back to you. So what does she do? She threatens me to call the cops or the DNR, and she was going to get him back because she had his papers. I was like, okay, then you can do that. Go right ahead and do it. I said, but I can tell you this, I'm not giving him back to you. So I didn't think she was actually going to call the DNR or the cops. But later that day, the DNR came over and they said they were going to, the DNR and the cops came over saying they were going to take him from me. And I was like, how are you going to take him? I said, she gave him to me. Because she did. She told me if I went and got him, then I could have him. So I was like, he's like, well, if you have the correspondence between you and her stating that that she said that you could have him if you went and got him, then the dog's yours. It's legally yours because she told you. So I was like, okay. So I showed him the text messages that we went back and forth, and he said, well, the dog is yours. She did give him to you. So we will let her know that there's nothing else we can do because she gave him to you. So anyways, after that, I remember getting this really mean, hateful message from my cousin saying that I had stole her dog after the DNR and cops went and told her that she wasn't getting him back because of the messages that she sent me. Well, I'm not gonna give a dog back that she threatened to shoot back to her. I mean, he's a good dog. But that's the story of Tupac. I have so many other stories I could tell too on rescued animals or animals me and my mom have rescued, but that's just gonna make this way too long. But yes, we actually have a rescued cat in our household. Her name's Ariel. She's a little cutie. But yeah, I really wouldn't say I advocate. Well, I don't know if advocate's the right word, but I do know that when an animal needs rescuing, me and my mom will go grab the animal. Usually the owners call Karen Good, and then Karen Good calls me or my mom, and we end up going to the place that they send us and grabbing the animals and transporting them to Rosie's rescue shelter. And yeah, I mean, sometimes the dogs that they do get, they can't, like, my mom had this one dog that she had to transport, and the owner said he had been having seizures. He was a little puppy. He was having seizures. And my mom went and got him the next day, and that lady said that his seizures haven't stopped. So my mom brings the puppy to Rosie's rescue. They bring him to Bagley, and there was nothing they could do because the puppy was having seizures for 24 full hours. And they said that the vet had said that the seizures were brought on by head trauma, or the dog was kicked or something. I mean, if you're going to treat a dog like that, then don't get animals, please. Or how some people have dogs and they know they should get them fixed because they're going to end up with more puppies. That one day we ended up rescuing 11 puppies. Or 10 puppies. They had 11 in total, but they ended up keeping one again. They had 4 full-grown dogs, or 3 full-grown dogs, 2 of them which were female. And then they had the full-grown male dog. And yeah, I mean, it's a continuous cycle. Like, nobody takes it seriously to spade or neuter animals. Well, I guess this had turned out to be a thing for spay and neuter too. But no, for real. I love to rescue dogs. I love to rescue any animals, actually. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about. My story of Ariel and Tupac and a couple more, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stories to tell. Me and my mom have been doing this for a while now, rescuing dogs, and Yeah, sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's easy, but yeah. Well, that's all I that's really all I have to do. So, but yeah,